I'm Amy, sex educator, sex and relationship coach, and co-owner of PurePleasureShop.com.
I'm April, VP of the cutting-edge sex toy company Hot Octopus, and I dedicate my life to the business of sex.
We are on a mission to teach you how to have hot sex, deep intimacy, and how to make your own rules for who you are as a sexual being.
Welcome to the Shameless Sex Revolution.
Don't forget to head on over to our website at shamelesssex.com for more. And for 15% off of some of our favorite sex toys, use coupon code SHAMELESSPP in all caps at purepleasureshop.com.
You are listening to a pleasure podcast. For more from our sex podcast collective, visit pleasurepodcasts.com.
Well, hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to the Shameless Sex Podcast. This episode is tips from a dick-sucking expert.
Amy, it's pronounced diaka.
Oh, sorry. Tips from a diaka-sucking expert. You know, our so still to this day, our top episodes, number 1 is still How to Eat Pussy Like a Champ with Allison Ash. And number 2 is still Tayomi's How to Suck Dick Like a Boss. So this one's probably going to be up there, number 2 or number 3 pretty soon, most likely.
Especially everybody out there. Sucking a diaka takes more than just a little bit of educative background. Headusa Divine has some really good stuff to share.
She's awesome. We are recording with her again.
I'm so stoked for that episode. It's going to be the webcam.
Ooh.
How to. So she's so cool.
She's amazing.
I loved this episode. It was a while ago that we recorded it, but it was really phenomenal.
Yeah.
Great tips. I've used some of the tips that she gave on this episode in between.
On a diaka?
On a diaka?
Like a real life diaka?
A real life diaka. It was nice.
I like that. So stay tuned, everyone. You're going to love this episode. Also, if you've heard, we have swag. We have T-shirts. We have masks. We have all kinds of shameless sex gear, stickers,
wall
mugs,
art,
tank tops, hoodies, all the above. So shameless
baby onesies.
Baby onesies. If you want to rock your shameless sex gear because you're part of the shameless sex revolution, guess what? It all goes to a good cause. We're donating all proceeds this month to the NAACP. So this is to support the Black Lives Matter movement. So we make no money off of it, and you get to look awesome in your swag. We also might have a contest coming up of you wearing your swag where you can win awesome sex toys.
Pretty high quality stuff. I was impressed.
Me too.
We never know.
We look great in sticker
with certain
format.
Those kinds of websites what you're gonna get. And I remember when we were talking about that, I was like, I don't know. It depends on the quality. And we got the stickers, we got the shirts and some mugs, and they were beautiful. Yeah, so I'm stoked.
I'm super excited. So to learn more, to order, just go to our website, shamelessex.com. You can scroll down and you'll see a big banner that has some T-shirts on it. Just click on that banner. It's huge. You can't miss it when you scroll down, and order away. And you can send us photos of you in it. I mean, as long as there's no diaka in it, we're good.
Yeah, you could send us photos. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, we have a contest coming up.
I mean, you could just put a emoji over the diaka.
Yeah. A diaka emoji.
Just because
of a eggplant.
Yeah, or a banana. Or the loaf of bread. That's one I've been using lately.
Ooh, a loaf of bread for the diaka?
Yeah, why not?
Oh my God, my animal is going crazy right now. Okay, go check that out. Now we want to, so we have a sex question here, a very interesting sex question that is related to the diaka, about blowjob and shame around blowjobs. Specifically, is it degrading? We will get there in 1 second. First, I want to bring up some important feedback, as we always do when we get feedback from our listeners because we value you. Feedback about Kim and Nami's episode that we did last week. I have had at least 2 emails and 2 other live humans report back that they thought a lot of the language was shaming. And so I'm going to read just a little bit of the feedback. And we did, we shared in the beginning of the episode, if you all haven't listened, we did share in the beginning of the episode that there were some things that were said that we didn't necessarily agree with in the way that we do sex education. I actually had a moment where I was activated that I shared on there. So here's some feedback from a listener. I wanted to give you some feedback on your latest episode featuring Kim and Nami and validate Amy's expression of feeling triggered or activated by some of Kim's statements. I'm a 25-year-old heterosexual female in a long-term monogamous relationship. Although my partner and I consider our sex life to be wonderful, mind-blowing, and adventurous, I, too, felt almost attacked by Kim's words surrounding statements like, if the sex you're having isn't transcended and doesn't leave you feeling invigorated, then you're doing it wrong. I believe that it's incredibly harmful to tell anyone who's experiencing sexual pleasure that they're doing it wrong. As someone whose orgasms come pretty easily and consistently, pun intended, this statement was difficult to hear, and I imagine it would be so much more harmful or hurtful for those who do struggle to experience sexual pleasure consistently. Furthermore, I also felt as if Kim was shaming those who experience clitoral orgasms rather than her described vaginal and cervical orgasms. I was under the impression that most genital orgasms are in fact clitoral orgasms due to the way in which the extensive clitoral anatomy is involved with both the vagina and the urethra, not to mention that there are many other ways of achieving orgasm besides the genitals. As we know very well, every female-bodied individual is different, and some types of orgasms are more accessible to some people than others based purely on their individual anatomy, as you both have explained through your experiences working with sexological body workers. The way Kim spoke was as if clitoral orgasms are somehow less than vaginal or cervical, and those who experience clitoral orgasms should level up, a belief, by the way, that was shared by Freud back in the day. Whether it was intended or not, she also seemed to imply that crygasms were only accessible vaginally, and I felt that, in her view, the amazing clitoral orgasms I experienced with my partners, many of which has been crygasms, by the way, are in some way not good enough in her opinion. There's more that this person shared, and so I have another email from someone.
Oh yeah, that's a long email.
Yeah, and this another person said, they're saying, love you and appreciate you. We felt like the language was limiting and shaming, and I have to say, yeah, I agree. And I agree. Again, we said this in the podcast. She has a lot of wonderful things to offer. Because here's what I love about what she says. What her approach is, you have it all in you. You've just been told a whole bunch of lies about how it all works, but really deep down, you have all the tools. You're not broken. You just don't know it. I love that. And I do agree that when you speak about a hierarchy of pleasure, or that all bodies work one way and that everyone can have that, and if you're not doing this way and it's stated that you're doing it wrong or it's not enough, that is shaming.
Well, that did happen to me on the episode because she was talking about the wetness and vaginal dryness, and that is something that is basically not normal, and that you should or could have the ability to always have a wet pussy. And I was like, well, wait a second, that doesn't happen to me all the time. And I know that I'm a very sexual person, and I also have come to terms with the fact that I sometimes am super horny and my pussy doesn't cooperate, right? It just doesn't. That's why I love lube. That's why I love Uber lube. That's why I love having the option. And I did have a moment of like,
what's wrong?
Something's wrong with me. Yeah.
I'm not doing it right. I'm broken. My partner must not be taking enough time to pleasure me.
Right.
And we were talking about this, hormones, antihistamines, stress.
And I've also worked really hard to communicate that to my partner. I was like, yo, I am really turned on by you. And because he was sometimes like confused, like, well, I don't understand why you're, what's happening? Are you not turned on? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And so that episode did kind of mess with my brain.
I think a lot of it is a language thing that it just, as I read the feedback and felt into it, it really doesn't fit our model. It doesn't fit. But again, we don't only want to share what fits our model too.
No. And that's what I was going to say, because we said this on the intro, when we recorded the intro, we said, there have been guests that we have not necessarily 100% agreed with all of what they were presenting to us as experts or their information that they gave. We've kind of been like, However, it's good to know that there's all sorts of tools and options for all sorts of folks out there, depending on what you want. We're not a one-size-fits-all podcast. With our approach is, this is what's available. This is what we're presenting to you. You can make your own rules, and these are the options for you.
I think in the future, though, what I'll say to our listeners is that through again, there's stuff that she said that I value, and I personally think it is important that to share different opinions, but to not necessarily represent folks that use shaming language, in my opinion. And that is just a judgment on my part, and our listeners are hearing that too. So what I can say to people is I will do better in screening guests that they can have different opinions from us, but if their language doesn't feel inclusive, maybe they don't have to have the perfect gender pronouns.
Shamey.
I know. That's what your partner calls me.
That's what my partner called her. It's just funny.
They don't have to have the perfect gender pronouns. I don't expect all of our listeners to have that, or like they don't, and some of them have heteronormative language. That's just how they were trained. But if they are saying things that are shaming, that if you're not doing this way, then it's incorrect or not good enough, then that's going to be something that I'm personally going to stand by.
It does seem that the most fiery of episodes, where we get the most interesting / intense feedback, are the ones that have folks that have this very kind of shamey, one-sided, I said shamey, but that was just because I was looking at you, but they have this kind of language and this representation of what they believe is the right and only methodology for the approach, whether it's for vaginal wetness or menopause or for picking up girls at the bar, right? So
there isn't one size that fits all to anyone. No. The one thing that applies to everyone is that we all need to fucking breathe, otherwise we're gonna die. So like we know that the breath is really important.
You have to pee and
we also need water. Although aren't the
3 days without water?
What about the breatharians? Aren't they? Never mind. Okay, I won't go down that rabbit hole. But here's what I want to say to everyone.
I don't know what that is, but
breatharians.
I'm gonna Google it later.
We're talking.
We
about
don't have time in the day for all this.
Fuck.
I mean, the things that you've been sharing with me lately, I'm like, Amy, don't go down the rabbit hole. She'll text me sometimes like, oh my God, did you see this thing? I was like, I don't think JFK Jr. is alive. So we're not going to go there. And
I don't think JFK
I know
Jr.
you don't, but you're like...
Some other folks do. Okay.
It's like the chemtrail.
Oh my God.
All right, moving on.
Shit's getting weird in COVID.
Shit is.
So here's what I want to offer to people. You go to episode on our podcast, number 95, with Emily Nagowski, who wrote Come As You Are.
One of my favorite episodes, by the way.
The episode's out, Come As You Are, because yes, you are normal. And everything she says is very normalizing. And for anyone that felt shamed from what they heard Kim and Nami say, or anyone who's questioning themselves, go listen to that episode so that you don't feel shamed anymore, because we really, really identify with what she says. And check out her book, Come As You Are. It is revolutionary. So I'm sorry if anyone was offended, and I get it, because it brought up stuff for me too, and for April.
I don't think we should be the ones apologizing. I don't think we did anything wrong.
I'm
right?
saying no. I'm not saying I'm sorry that we did anything. I'm sorry that you have an experience that doesn't feel good.
Yes.
So I just feel bad for anyone that feels shamed.
Okay.
I know it's not our fault.
I was just clarifying the apology.
No, apologies don't only have to come. Apologies don't mean someone's wrong. Apologies mean, in my opinion, it can mean I really feel for you.
I'm sorry that your nickname's Shame.
You're wrong. Okay. All right. Ready for a sex question?
Yes.
My partner is uncomfortable giving me blowjobs because she feels that the act is very degrading and disrespectful. She is a very intelligent and respectful woman, and I do not want to make her feel uncomfortable doing something she does not enjoy. It is always consensual and never forced, and I understand that maybe she feels this way because of the deception of oral sex in porn. However, this is not to say that she never gives me blowjobs. It's on a rare occasion, and I love it when she does. She is very good at it, and I appreciate it and gratefully enjoy it when she does decide to give me oral. And I should also add that my partner doesn't let me give her oral sex, as she feels it's dirty and also degrading. Only recently, she has decided that oral sex is now completely off the table, and I am respectful of her decision. However, like most men, I really enjoy oral sex, and I don't want it to make a big deal out of it. But on the other hand, am I denying myself the pleasure of something I really enjoy? Do you have any tips or ideas that might help put the head back on the head back in our sex life? I like that.
Dude, this episode
with
to start,
Headusa.
This kind of bums me out a little bit, only in terms of the partner, her putting herself in this box that is like, I'm not going to ever do that again unless there's something deeper going on. And I'm sure from your perspective, Amy, from your kind of therapizing this question, and also this other person that's involved with the decision and not wanting to go down or have anyone go down on her, I feel like maybe there's some deeper work that needs to be done. Maybe there's some trauma that she's had or something that is activating her, triggering her when she's in this position. I've had that problem. I've talked about that on the podcast before when I was forced with 15,
Someone
I think, or 14.
Pushing your head down?
Yes, he was older, and it was really traumatic, and it also felt degrading to me, and I felt like I was just sort of being used, and it was really hard for me for a long time to get to the level or the space of thinking that it was okay to go down on a person. I was okay with people going down on me, and I know this isn't about me, but I just understand perhaps why she's having issues if there is something that happened within that. And that's going to be work that she's going to have to choose to do, to actually look at. And if that's not the case, and she's just making the assumption or having the experience that it's dirty, which is hard for me to hear because it's not dirty, right? Yeah. It's not something that is vile.
The Bible says it does, though. I mean, it's part of sodomy. oral sex is.
Yes.
This is how old these beliefs are, right? And I think we don't realize that our beliefs about things can be related to something from 1,000 years ago, right? That was written or said. In the Victorian era as well, oral sex wasn't something you did with a partner, something you paid for, hence where the name blowjob. This is a theory. The name blowjob actually potentially came from paying a sex worker, that's the job, to blow your load, blowjob, because it wasn't something that you did in relationship. People weren't going down on pussies, they weren't going down on cocks.
Because it was also because sex was more for procreation.
Yeah.
It wasn't for pleasure.
It was a job. Yeah, it was a job still within that.
So you went to a paid person
for the pleasure.
For the pleasure.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of things.
Your dog is on one today, by the way.
He wants to lick
He
you.
is in. I love you.
Oh
okay,
my
sorry.
God.
He's very distracted. He's on my mic. He's on my mic. Okay.
He wants to say hi to all the listeners. Oh my God, someone get this dog a bone. So what I want to say about this to this person, it's we don't know where this came from. The idea maybe is from watching porn. Like as April said, maybe your partner had a experience that was traumatic. Someone pushing their head down, someone calling them a slut for sucking dick, or in school, do you remember the girls who you heard that they sucked someone's dick and then everyone called them a slut and slut shamed them, and even if it wasn't you still internalized that. Oh, only slutty girls do that.
I never participated in the
slut shaming.
Slut shaming, but I did internalize that was bad.
Yeah,
like I thought about that in high school. Like, oh, that is not. I would never do that.
Yeah, that's degrading. You're a lower person if you do that. So what I would say is get curious. If she says that she finds it degrading, and maybe ask her questions about that lovingly. Like, hey, I want to respect wherever you're at. I'm not trying to force you to do anything. In fact, it's really important for me to respect you. I'm also curious about this because not only do I like receiving oral sex, but I also like giving oral sex, and I like pleasuring you. And for me, I don't think of these things as shameful. So, but I'm curious, what about it? Is it that, did you see it in porn? Did you have any bad experiences with it? Were you raised religiously where you had people told you that told you this isn't what you do? Because chances are it comes from something. It's not just like she was born with this idea fresh out of the womb. But whatever you do, completely be really clear that you will not pressure her, that you respect her, and that I'll say that part. Am I denying myself the pleasure of something I really enjoy? Yes and no, right? If this is something it's really, really important to you, and you feel like you're going to have resentment and it's going to hurt sexual connection because there's a big part of you that wants to experience something that you're not experiencing, that could be an issue, but it doesn't mean we always get what we want. So it's only if you feel like, in 2 years, if oral sex is off the table, I'm going to have an issue, and I'm, that this probably won't be fulfilling in terms of the sex life that I want, then that's something to consider. But if you feel like I could take it or leave it because there's so many other ways that we connect, then all good.
And listen to the Mick Jagger Rolling Stone song, "You can't always get what you want,
but you can try sometimes.
You just might find
you don't get the head." We're going to start a shameless sex band.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's great advice, Amy. And I think, if she's having a bit of maybe some hold up, or she's feeling sort of in that space of unable to share her past experience, or what is the reasoning behind her not wanting to do the oral, either do the oral or give the oral or receive the oral, maybe there is someone that you can talk to. There's online therapists. There are sexological body workers that could even help with her trauma if she has any of that stuff happening. If she doesn't feel that it's safe to talk to you about the things, then you could always encourage or suggest maybe her seeking out someone that is a professional that could help her tap in to some of these sorry, I'm distracted by the animal, but some of these feelings and
if it is old shame and trauma, especially worthy of working on.
Yeah.
But she has to choose that. It's not that you need to do this for me. It's just that she has to ultimately choose it for herself. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully we answered some of your questions. Thank you for writing in. We love our listeners, and listen to this episode because there's some good advice. So before we read the bio, I'd like to talk to you all about a little something called Dipsy. You've heard us talk about this before. So we always talk about how important self-care is. It's the medicine for everything, especially right now. People are having a real hard time with COVID, etc. And self-care is vital for us. And we think of self-care usually as like go to yoga and eat healthy, but self-care also pleasure is a part of that. This is a holistic approach. All of these parts of ourselves matter. And so our stance is connection to our pleasure is part of self-care and is vital for us. That means connection to our bodies and our erotic bodies. I know a lot of you are probably feeling disconnected to your pleasure right now. And we're in love with Dipsea. It is an app. It's online. It's easy to use. It's erotic short stories designed by women for women, although people of all genders can listen. And they give new episodes every week, new stories every week, I should say. And you can listen to it anywhere, anytime. You get turned on whenever you want to. It's phenomenal.
And not only do they have stories, in the app you can go to their wellness section. They have dirty talk basics. They have a strap-on starter, so you can actually play with BDSM aftercare and listen to 12 to 9-minute segments and get all of the wellness short info that you can play with
and get turned on.
Get turned on too. So go from the stories to the wellness app. So shameless sex listeners, that's you. You get a 30-day free trial when you go to dipseastories.com/shameless. That's 30 days totally free when you go to dipseastories.com/shameless. Again, dipseastories.com/shameless. I'm on it. I know Amy is too.
Do it. Hey, Chip, how about a bio?
I want to read the bio.
Nice.
All right, let's learn about Headusa Divine. I love her.
I call her Headusa. And
yeah, it was good. It was good. I was loving it. But it's like Medusa, but Headusa.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
Headusa Divine is a master oralist, webcam model, self-published author, and content creator. She's a dick-sucking expert and author of The Blowjob Handbook, where she shares her experiences, techniques, and advice to help self-empower and improve within the art of sucking dick. Not only does she focus on the physical aspects of sucking dick, she also incorporates the mental and spiritual aspects because they are just as, if not more, important. Her goal in sharing her wisdom and experiences from entertainment and educational perspectives is to influence the fellatio culture, as well as for you to learn new techniques and skills so that you are inspired to become your own master oralist. To learn more, visit IamHeadusa.com. That's IamHeadusa.com. And now let's get to the interview. But first,
food is medicine and time is precious. That's why we're huge fans of Sakara. Sakara delivers clean, delicious meals directly to you to make your life easier while giving you the nutrients you need. Their organic, ready-to-eat meals are made with powerful plant-based ingredients designed to boost your energy, improve your digestion, and get your skin shining. Sakara customizes the menu just for you with chef-crafted meals that change weekly so you'll never get bored. The Sunshine Curry Bowl with purple coconut sticky rice. Talk about a mouthgasm. Add to that their daily supplements and detox teas for an all-natural remedy for bloating, weight gain, and fatigue, and you will be glowing from the inside out. It's time to avoid the dreaded trip to the grocery store with Sakara. And right now, Sakara is offering our listeners 20% off with their first order when they go to sakara.com/shameless or enter code shameless at checkout. That's Sakara, SAKARA.com/shameless to get 20% off your first order. Again, that's Sakara.com/shameless. Don't wait another minute. Go check it out. And now back to the show. All right, everyone. It is episode time. We are here with Headusa Divine talking about dick sucking. Headusa Divine, as you heard in the bio, is a master oralist. What is a master oralist, you say? Well, you also probably heard that she is a dick sucking expert. And I can tell you right now, this is probably going to be one of our top episodes because so many of our listeners love learning how to be the ultimate lover. So without further ado, let's dive on in. Headusa Divine, we always start with a similar question for most of our guests. Tell us how you got to where you're today, and for you in particular, what was your inspiration for making dick sucking into a science, and how did you become a master oralist?
Awesome. Well, thank you guys again for having me on your platform. So hello, everyone. My name is actually, it's like 3 different entendres to it. So it's Headusa, like Medusa.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
Headusa.
Okay.
And then it's also Headusa, like I use your head.
Oh,
love that.
So there's like 3 different meanings to it. But thank you so much for having me on your platform. I really, really appreciate it. So how I got started. Well, I got started in this archetype, or I created this archetype of Headusa as paying pretty much homage, or um, I was inspired by my partner that I've been with for the past decade. And, we pretty much engaged in this activity nonstop, constantly. And not only did it, but we also were like, became experts in it. So we like became analysis. We, critiqued other master oralists or people that we thought were awesome in the art form. And we just like embodied it. So this archetype of Headusa, really just is a brainchild of our connection, of our union, and of our gift that we share with the world. So he inspired me to actually create Headusa and just, share it with the world. And when I actually decided to, how I decided to share Headusa with the world, I created an NSFW Twitter, and I'm sure you all are familiar with that. And it's pretty much like Pornhub. It's pretty much like Pornhub. So people are just posting, different videos and everything. And I just saw that there was a need for just creating this art form, because it is an art form, everyone, into a science. There was really no rule or regulation per se, or just like standard for what is a good dick sucker, what is a good blowjob, let alone an excellent one. So I was just like, I have some tips, some techniques, some moves that I can create into a science and share with the world in order to empower them. I'm all about empowerment, because I don't want you to just read my book and just be like, well, I have to suck dick like Headusa and then I'm going to be an expert. No, you empower yourself to suck dick how you want to. I do have different techniques. I do have different moves that I share with you, but you create the tapestry for yourself. You use the dick as your canvas, and you are the paintbrush, you're the different paints, you're the colors, and you create your own picture. So I just really wanted to give you techniques to use, put together yourself, and then you create your own version of a master oralist.
Which sounds very empowering. And we're going to ask you a question about how becoming a master oralist creates, this self-empowerment part of oneself that's doing it. You kind of said it, because you're creating your own canvas. You can learn the tips and then adapt them to how you like. Is there any other pieces in there that helps becoming a master oralist leading to being a self-empowered human?
Definitely, for sure. So this kind of relates to my book, but I divided my book into 3 different categories, which are mind, body, and spirit. So in order for you to even engage in sucking dick, I really think it starts with the mind, because a lot of us are like super anxiety ridden about it. We're like insecure about it. And then that leaks into us actually physically doing it. And as energetic beings, we can feel each other's vibe. Like, when you're around someone and you're like, I don't know what it is, but my body wisdom, my vibe is telling me something is off, or you love them. You know what I'm saying? So like, really just conquering, I don't want to say conquering, but like transmuting the mind, and then that leaks into the body. And then if you're like a spiritual type of person, that opens the spiritual realms as well. And I can tap into that if you guys would like, but really just starting with the mind, that's really, really important. That's important in anything. So I would say the mind is like the most important. And then once you are secure in yourself, and I would say confident, but you don't have to be like a 5-star starting off. You can just be like, I'm going to do this for you, and he'll appreciate that, just knowing that you're secure in and of yourself, and then that is emitted through you actually engaging in the activity.
And that goes both directions, for giver and receiver. I'm assuming it's all in your mind, right?
Yes. And I've listened to a lot of interviews about this art form, and they never really tap into the mind. It's all just about the physicality of it. But it's like the physical comes from the mental. You even wanting to do it starts in your mind. And there's 3 different minds. There's the brain, there's the heart, and there's the gut. So you have to really just use all of them synergistically, and then goes into the body and the spirit.
You talk about energy transfer through sex, and I think you just kind of commented on that, and and so that sticks out to me. In I describe myself as very energetically. I don't know if I use the word sensitive, but the energetics attuned. Yeah, I'm empathic, and I feel energy from people. I make assumptions based on what I feel. When it comes to sex, energy is the number one thing that will get me into my arousal, help me relax or feel safe. It isn't the things that someone says or does, it's how they energetically show up. So when you speak through energy transfer through sex, can you tell us a little more about what that's about?
Definitely. So we all know the saying, energy is never created nor destroyed. So sexual energy, creative energy, those are actually two sides of the same coin, and with sexual energy, if you're able to harness that and really just dig into that, then you're really able to manifest and materialize anything that you'd like to. Now, dependent on your energy, the other person's energy, and the energies working together, that is just like a transference, and it's honestly one of the most open forms of energy transfer that really I can think of, honestly. So if you're engaging with someone who's toxic, who has toxic traits, who have physically shown you toxic traits, and then you engage with them, whether that's like through fellatio or other sexual ways, and then you wonder why minutes later, hours later, you don't feel so good, your stomach hurts, your head hurts, you're trying to start a business or get ahead in life, and it's just not working out. You really have to be aware that maybe the energy of that person is inhibiting you from doing what you want to achieve. So like, we really honestly, with sex, it's all like, popularly, it's really just about the physicality of it, but like I was saying before, when you put the mind in it, and then also like the spiritual aspect, which is the energy aspect, you'll just really, really understand, and you'll be more aware, careful with who you engage with.
And is there a way to go about doing that? Because I also am only now, I think, starting to recognize energy and dropping in. And when I feel really good and I'm not feeling drained by either, if it's conversationally or sexually with people or my partner. And I don't know if I can describe to people how to do that. And I'm wondering if you could, because there's some people out there that are just super logical. They're using their left brain and not necessarily tapping into that openness. Are there any tips for people to drop in that you can share?
Yes, it's body wisdom, guys. It just goes with that. Even if you're super left brain analytical, robotic, you still feel even like the primal urges of I'm hungry, my stomach's rumbling, or you have a pit in your stomach, you have butterflies in your stomach. Really just being aware of that. We've been really conditioned to suppress that and not give that any thought or consideration or any mind, pay no mind to it. But it all like that happens to even the most logical people, even the people that aren't even tapped into energy and spirituality and all that stuff. Like, they still have those primal instincts. So really just understanding that, because we all have sexual organs, and we know how they work. We know that they have arousal peaks and dips and all that kind of stuff. So when you take that energy and you put that energy, or you compare that energy to how your stomach is, or for women, I would say your womb. It's like womb wisdom. For males, it's really just like your gut, because men, they don't technically physically have a womb, but they still have like that spiritual aspect to them where it will tell you, okay, this person's good, this person's bad, this person's for me, this person isn't for me. So really just going with that body wisdom and using all three minds as well.
I'm hearing something that we talk about and a lot of our guests talk about too. What you're referring to is listening, being able to listen to your yeses, your nos, your maybes. And because what you're saying is that, and I agree, so many folks, including myself, override our intuition, and we get this feeling, this sensation. So part of it is also being somewhat experienced and knowing how to listen to your body and slowing down and listening to a different sensation here, even when it comes to something as playful as oral sex. People can override their boundaries if they get it. Something feels off with this person, but you still do it.
You still do it.
They're going to really affect you and not feel good. And like you said, we're like sponges. And even aside from oral sex, even if it's just like, kissing someone or going on the date with them, you're like, I'm just getting such a no, like something does not feel right. And instead of being like the caretaker, overriding yourself, trying to be the good girl, the good guy, and not wanting to be too much or not enough, instead it's like, listen to it, which in turn helps you get out of your head. The headiness of getting stuck in the stories is right, is wrong. Well, what does my body say? And then all of a sudden the mind just slows down. And I love that you brought that into this this fun, playful thing that you're actually bringing in the body was. I really appreciate that.
Right. And I think just to piggyback off of what you're saying is like sometimes even though you go against your intuition, that's supposed to happen. That's a part of the story. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when you make those decisions, I don't want to say mistakes. Sometimes when you make those decisions, you make them, you learn from it. And once you encounter something like that again, you're able to relate it to something that already happened. And you're like, well, this is what happened last time. So do I really want to go through that again? Or am I going to choose a different path?
Yeah. Trust your instincts, everyone. Tap in. Sometimes it's hard when you drink too much wine.
We have a consent issue.
Yes. So can we talk about the art of sucking dick? What is the art of sucking dick?
Perfect. So the two words I want to focus on first are sucking dick. So in the start of my book, I'm like, let's just cut to the chase. I'm not talking about just blowjobs. I'm not talking about hand jobs. I'm not talking about anal play. I'm not talking about anything. I'm talking about using your mouth and sucking dick. So really just focusing on your mouth. And yes, sometimes I do have different techniques that use the hand, but really just using your mouth and the coordination of your mouth and the dick. And as far as like the art portion goes, so art, this ties into like the energy, creative energy aspect as well. But the art of sucking dick is like, it's an art form, and art is science as well. So when I say art, like I was alluding to before, it's like you create the masterpiece, you create the tapestry. It's free form. It's your work. It's your story, it's your movie. So really just having a basis in an educational tool, that's really what I wanted to evoke in the book, in the products that I'm going to talk about a little later on. But just really showing you, yes, it's an art form, yes, it's open-ended, but here is a path, here is a science, here are some tools to really just become a master in the area. Because let's cut to the chase, men like their dick sucked. They do.
They do?
And if they don't, if they're like, you know what, it's cool, they're going to get it from somebody on the side, or they're going to like they're going to go on webcam, they're going to go on Pornhub, and it's like, you're physically there. So it's like, if you're able to satisfy and fulfill those needs, then they won't really need to go outside of you, So I just wanted to create those tools to not only make it a science, but allow you to use your creative juices, your creative flows, and just create your own masterpiece.
Okay, time for a quick break. This podcast was made possible by Uberlube. It's a luxurious silicone lubricant that enhances sex and intimacy. We receive emails from listeners who have tried Uberlube, and the feedback is unanimous. We never knew lube could be this good. It's also less likely to throw off the pH than most other lubes, and there are thousands of doctors recommending Uberlube to their patients, whether they want to make their hot sex even hotter or for folks experiencing dryness.
Uberlube is without a doubt my favorite lube. It has no flavor, no scent, and feels absolutely amazing on my body. And it isn't just for sex. I use it to tame my hair frizzies, to prevent chafing, and I even put some in my mouth before an oral sex session. Totally ups my blowjob game. Oh, and the bottle, it's beautiful. It looks like a cosmetic product, so I just leave it out on my nightstand, totally shamelessly. To learn why we think it's the best lube on the planet, check out uberlube.com and use code shamelesssex for 10% off, plus free shipping. Again, that's uberlube.com and use code shamelesssex for 10% off and free shipping.
This podcast was also made possible by omgyes.com. OMGS is a research-based online program that teaches you all about how to pleasure the pussy. OMGS studied thousands of vulva owners to find out how they orgasm and then made beautiful animated modules and super honest short videos to give you ways to reach even more pleasure. I've been recommending OMGS to my clients for years, and it's been changing their lives.
We all know pleasure is fluid and ever-changing, so why not add more tools to your pleasure tool belt? OMGS is for everyone, so whether you are a vulva owner or you just love vulvas, OMGS will give you the techniques to get your O-face on. There are 2 seasons to choose from and hundreds of gorgeous videos to explore, so go see what science says about pleasure and visit omgyes.com/shameless. That's omgyes.com/shameless to get $5 off your OMGS access. Again, omgyes.com/shameless. Go check it out. Now back to the show.
It sounds like what you're saying too. I'm like the queen of reiterating things, but it helps me to understand.
I love it because I'm like, what did I just say?
Yeah. Well, part of like I might have created a story, and that might not be what she said, but it sounds like what you're saying is the book. You want to create a book that gives people a foundation and tools, but then the art piece is to figure out who you uniquely are. What's your unique offering in sucking dick? It isn't mine, it isn't April's, it isn't necessarily yours. It's that here's the foundational pieces, here's the education, here's all the options, but then the art piece is what you uniquely choose to bring to it. It's not what you saw in a porn video. And so is the art piece that you're referring to, technique can be a part of it, but also the things you say, the way you move your body, the outfit that you wear. Like, is that kind of more of the parts that people can uniquely weave in that speaks more to them?
Yes, that's definitely, and that's where the empowerment comes in, because it's like, you're not just like doing it because Headusa said on page 15 in her book to do this, you're doing it because not only are you like reading and educating yourself about it, but you're like ingesting it as well. And it becomes just a part of the routine that you create. I like making things sciences. I like making things systems and routines. So I'm really good at that. I know some people aren't good at it. So I just wanted to just present this option, present this lane so that you're able to be like, okay, well, I started at point A, now I'm at point C, and this is how much I've grown. You're able to track the progress.
And our listeners absolutely love tips, tricks, and becoming, as Amy mentioned in the beginning, becoming masters at their own sexual practices. And becoming a master oralist is obviously, I would love a PhD, right? That would be amazing. Be my sensei, right? Sensei. Right. I need it from Headusa. So can you give our listeners some top tips? People listening out there, if they want to step up their dick sucking game, top tips from Headusa?
Definitely. So as far as just like the mind aspect goes, I would say, just come at it from a way that you are there to give, not necessarily just do it and then you want to get right into sex. How I approach it is like, it's just like, I am pleasing you. This is my gift to you, because a lot of us go into it and we're like, well, I'm just going to suck his dick and then we're going to have sex. This is just the precursor. Sometimes that's necessary, but I would say really just to like hone in on the art form, I would say just mentally make that decision, and then you'll be able to open up more because you're not doing it from a selfish space. Body wise, I have many different techniques, and some of my new products that I'm going to be releasing are like instruction guides or like cheat sheets to literally different techniques, and then I break those techniques into different parts, into different movements, and I make it even more of a science for you to just go step by step through. I'll just touch on one of them. I would say one of the most popular ones is deep throat. Women are like so scared. They're like, I'm gonna throw up, like he's gonna push me off of him, like what's going on? And when it comes to deep throating, it's not like you have to deep throat like a porn star. your deep throat can just, you know, touch the back of your neck or the back of your throat, and that's deep throat. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when it comes to you doing deep throat, or I have a move called the washing machine spin cycle, like you determine how much you want to move your neck. You determine how wide you want to open your lips, you know? So it's really just contingent on your mechanics of your mouth, of your body, how it's set up, your lips. When it comes to the body wise, and then the spirit wise, just like being a place of peace, being being able to provide a stress relief, especially in, you know, difficult times like we're in now. Just being able to do that. But just on like a physical tip, I literally have about, I think I have about like 5 instruction guides that I have posted, broken down into different movements. And then I also have 3 cheat sheets that are like finishing moves. A lot of women are like, I don't know, like I suck his dick, but he doesn't come, and it like hurts their feelings. You know, a lot of my coaching clients are like, how do I get it to not only, you know, stay hard and pleasure it, but how do I get him to come? So I decided to make some finishing move instruction guides as well. So
I've heard that from a number of people, or also penis owners who are like, I don't work out. We actually had Nick Scopoletti, who he has his own podcast, not sex related. Well, it's called the Mangina Dialogues, but he was here on our podcast asking his sex questions openly, which was cool because he wasn't afraid to, like, you know, he shared his vulnerability. And one of them was that I don't orgasm from oral sex, or I never have. And
kind of like, what's wrong with me? And we were like, nothing.
Yeah, nothing's wrong with you. Probably just in your head. And but I like that. And then on the flip side of that is the reverse would be other folks who take it personally when their partner doesn't orgasm from sex. So I think that's definitely a helpful tip. And I like what you said. Again, I just love when people normalize the fact that everyone is different. So again, like your way that you deep throat a cock might not be the way that April deep throats.
That's what I'm saying. You don't have to be a porn star.
Yeah,
you're not.
All of our mouths are shaped differently. Some people have stronger gag reflexes. Some people have tighter, smaller jaws, and so there isn't what. And that's the empowerment piece, is figuring out more so what works for you uniquely. I think that's just so important. I mean, I met people who are, you know, women who's 40 years old, and also people have traumatic experiences from oral sex, like
I totally understand.
And that kind of thing. And I see when you talk about the art dicks, like you're saying, not face fucking, I think that's when people can, when it's non-consensual face fucking.
That's one thing I forgot. I'm glad you brought that up, because it's, you know how guys are just like acting like your mouth is a vagina, and they're just, it's like, no, no, that's not what I'm talking about. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Sometimes that's hot, and sometimes
consensually,
sometimes and that's sometimes I'm like, fuck my face, and then sometimes like, no, not right now.
I wasn't ready. No.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I think face fucking should be negotiated most of the time, if not all of the time, and because those little things create trauma. Like sometimes we want to feel objectified. I love feeling objectified, and sometimes like a piece of meat, but it's when I choose it. It isn't when someone else just gets to choose that in our interaction. But when it's, you know, consensual, fuck yeah, objectify me and totally like make me feel used, but only when I choose that. And that's when I'm empowered, because it turns me on. But if you do on your own terms without checking with me, well, we're going to have a problem, and I might not suck your dick again. So.
This is a one and done experience.
Yeah. And I guess, do you also talk about, with the art of dick sucking, about spitting and swallowing? Because people ask me that question all the time. Like, is it okay if I don't swallow? I'm like, it's up to you. And
it's really up to you.
Yeah.
Up to you.
Okay, good. So I'm giving the right advice then.
Yes, you are. I mean, like, it's kind of like dick sucking is like a jack in the box. Like, yes, you know what you put in the box, but it's like anything can pop out, you know, based on the type of person it is, or the experiences they had, the trauma that they had. So really, like, especially like with my clients, because I do coaching and consulting, it's like I'm kind of like a well of knowledge, a well of wisdom, and I share with them based on their scenario, their situation, what they want to achieve, you know, the different steps, step by step, on how to achieve what they want to do, you know. So it's like with this art form, it's like so subjective to the or personalized to the specific person, and it's like a one way fits all is not the answer. So if you like it sprayed on your face, do it. If you like it on your tits, do it. If you like it down your throat, do it. Like,
if you want to just like you deal with your own cum,
Yeah.
go ahead.
yeah, if you want to do it in a trash can, do it.
I think the one size fits all approach is so not, I mean,
limiting.
It's limiting, and it's just not really, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Because humans are so different, and all of us we're just sponges, and all of this active stuff happening in our brains, and then you have your bodies on top of it. It's like, there's no way that you could be like, do this, and then every single time you will come.
It also takes away the fun. Like, I mean, this should all be fun and enjoyable. And when we're trying to fit in this one mold, like that might be fun for like 2 times or something, but eventually it's gonna be like, well, this is kind of monotonous and all.
We're not robots, but you can buy one if you really like a robot.
They're expensive.
They're expensive, but you could have the same dick sucking every time if you want. Just go online. So
I want my dick sucking every Tuesday night in the missionary position.
Well, there you go.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, it's like having sex in missionary all the time. It's
all
like,
the time,
that's cool, but it's gonna get boring.
Yeah, we need some change. So if people want to work with you, find your book, and find you on social media, can you give all of your plugs, please?
Yes. So I-am as in money, Headusa, HEAD as in door, USA.com. My Skype is there. I do Skype sessions. I'm also a webcam artist and creative, also known as a webcam model. So my time and my website that I use is on there. Instagram is Next Level Head, HEAD. My Twitter is I am Headusa, just like the website. I'm on Clips for Sale, Pornhub, X Videos. What else am I on? OnlyFans. Popular OnlyFans. Yes. So if you just type in Headusa, you'll be able to find me. But my website houses everything I just said.
That's where people buy your book. So is your book electronic and print, or just electronic?
It's just an ebook, and it's available through my website and also on Amazon.
That's the Blowjob Handbook.
Yeah, the official Blowjob Handbook, correct.
Ooh, cool. Yeah, go check that out, everybody. You dive deeper into the dick sucking experts' tips and learn about the art of sucking dick.
Oralist.
Yeah,
I want to be a Master Oralist.
I know.
My mom is so proud. She's listening. Seriously, she was. She's listening, but she listens to every single podcast episode. So she'd be like, "Well, my daughter's now a Master Oralist."
She's got the bumper sticker on. Yeah. My daughter's a Master Oralist with honors.
That's super funny. Yeah, and I also, just to mention, I also have a new book that's going to be published today, available today, on webcamming. My perspective on webcamming and how to really just make money doing it, because there's a lot of money in webcam.
Dude, I would love to be able to share that, because I constantly tell people, we've done a lot of work with XBiz, and we had a show out in Brooklyn called the Sex Expo when they were still able to have conventions, and the chatterbait models were always there. And I thought it looked really empowering to be able to use your own laptop and webcam to make money. And
you don't have to touch people.
Yeah, you don't have to touch people.
You choose your hours. Yeah. You can choose your work. So you're kind of an asshole. Bye.
I definitely shared that. I was like, be a cam model. Go on and be a webcam model. So definitely, please, when you have the link, send that to us so I can also share,
of course,
that information with people. And for all of our listeners out there, check out all of Headusa's. It's IamHeadusa.com. So go on there, check out all her goodies and things. And thank you for being on our show. You were awesome, and I love what you're sharing with the world. I think it's really important, and I'm really happy that you came on and shared some of your knowledge with us.
Yes, thank you all so much again. I really appreciate it. I'm honored. You guys are so awesome. You guys have done so much work in this industry, just creating this platform. So gratitude. I appreciate you.
Thank you. We appreciate that. And we also appreciate our wine sponsor, Margins Wine. Why? Because it's tasty, yummy. Amy and I drank about 3 bottles yesterday, not by ourselves.
Hey, we had another friend or two.
And they also commented about how tasty and lovely it was, refreshing. So go to marginswine.com. They deliver all across most states, and check out why Amy and I have been huge fans. You sign up for their newsletter because you can't buy it all year round. She runs out really fast. So check that out. There are also some coupon codes on our our website, so you can buy some and save. All right, y'all. I love each and every one of you, and I'm encouraging each and every one of you to write us a 5-star review on iTunes. Why? Because it helps more people find out about shameless sex, and it really helps more people have better, amazing sex. What? Amy?
And one way to make that easier, because a lot of people get confused on how to review us, just go and enter the URL ratethispodcast.com/shameless sex, and then it will give you an easy way to rate us in the apps that you want to rate us.
I'm sure they could also just go to ratethispodcast.com and type in shameless sex in the search bar. Yeah.
But
it does help us, y'all, and it really helps everyone be able to receive our messages. Apple iTunes has a crazy algorithm, and the more reviews we have, the easier we can be found. So we will see you next Tuesday, y'all, and maybe next Friday. We're still deciding, but ciao for now.
Don't forget to head on over to our website at shamelesssex.com for more. And for 15% off of some of our favorite sex toys, use coupon code SHAMELESSPP in all caps at purepleasureshop.com.